Let's start with Florida State at Virginia, right? So it seems like Florida State got caught looking ahead to a massive, rivalry game next week against Miami, but they walked into Charlottesville and got absolutely blindsided. They lost 46-38 in double overtime, and they also had a wide receiver get completely swallowed up by the field storming. Which, let's talk about that. So I get it, like it looks fun. But that was kind of dangerous. Like, that wide receiver was still on the ground when all those people started storming. It starts as a $50,000 fine for the first offense, and then it starts going up from there. But Aaron, do you have any thoughts? I mean, like, you can't stop it, I guess, or at least $50,000 is not enough to stop it. So, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, it's like, the worst type of scenario for an opposing team to be in. You got a school who's just excited, pumped up, ready to, upset and beat you. And at the end of the game, you got 20,000 drunk college students ready to come onto the field and just be accessible to be, yeah, exactly. Trample you and your teammates. So it's just like, at some point we're going to have to consider, okay, this is a potential, hazard and safety risk for these players who are not just college students. They're celebrities, at a certain point in time. I mean,
Yeah.
Of course we want to normalize them being kids at the same time, but you also have to protect them. Not only them, the coaches. Like, I saw Florida State's quarterback, while he was walking off the field, he was getting flicked off.
Yeah.
Their head coach, Mike Norvell, he had security by him, but like, people were still coming up to them. And it's like, at some point in time, people are only going to put up with so much,
Yeah.
After the 10th guy walking up to your face, either cussing at you, flicking you off, or recording your phone, I mean, maybe somebody's going to have a breaking point to where there's retaliation or something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. They might need to add a 0 to the end of that fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's get into the game. The Seminoles, they were an 8-point favorite, but honestly, they just never looked comfortable. It was a classic trap game, plain and simple. We mentioned on the last episode that Virginia is actually, the second highest scoring team in the ACC. What impressed me was their defense was able to step up and close the gap that was needed in order to kind of seal the win for UVA. I think, Florida State, they lost this game despite outgaining Virginia on total offense, but I think the difference was, turnovers and penalties. FSU had 11 penalties for over 100 yards, and they turned the ball over 3 times, one of which we're going to review on video. And the Cavaliers' defense for Virginia, they were phenomenal, especially in the red zone. So there's this one video that I want to, well, it's 2 videos, but it's 2 plays for Castellanos, where he goes under center. And the first one's kind of a trick play. It works the first time. The second one's not a trick play, not necessarily, but it's a similar looking play. But the defense stays very disciplined, and they're able to get an interception off of it. So let me pull up that video real quick and get your thoughts. All right. So in this video, Florida State is on offense. Thomas Castellanos is under center. It's going to be a trick play, Aaron. But what are you seeing here that Florida State is showing, and how is Virginia responding? And let me know when you want to start the play.
Yeah, so it looks like, Florida State, they got a single back in the backfield, got a bunch of receivers on the right-hand side, trips. I mean, it looks like Virginia's lining up pretty much head up against it, right? So man on man, everybody's got a man, they're pointing them out, and it's time to play, trench ball, basically, time to stand up on defense and run the play. That's the one that worked, right?
Sorry, yes, that was the one that, yeah, correct. So that's the trick play that he was able to run for a first down, and get in field goal range.
Yep. So that's so hard to guard because you're trying to stay disciplined and stick with your man, but Castellanos in space, he's gonna get that every time.
Yeah. So let's look in the second one. All right. So now pulling up the second one. He
Yep.
goes under center again. Um, and let's see what we see.
Yeah, I see more people up on the line committed to stopping the run right there. I
Yep.
think they
Fake
can't
handoff.
so many
Yep.
guys, right?
They started blitzing him so much more. And look at that interception.
Exactly.
What
I think
what did
that was
Virginia
the
do
killer.
better? Yeah, what did Virginia do better this time around in order to force that interception?
Yeah, making the playmaker that Florida State wanted to make the play, Castellanos, making him make a decision fast, not giving him time to be comfortable and use his dual threat ability, right? And since he didn't have time to do anything except dump it off, your guys are there to cover the ball. If you don't give the quarterback time, you know the odds are more in your favor.
All right, so appreciate you providing that analysis on that video. One last thing I wanted to cover on the Florida State game. Deuce Robinson, he was phenomenal in this game. He played at USC for a couple years before transferring to Florida State this year. Should have came to Georgia, but anyway, that last catch that he bobbled a little bit. That was obviously a point of contention, and Florida State fans are obviously going to say, no, that was a catch. I mean, he was still bobbling the ball as he was running out. So I don't. To me, as a non-biased, audience member, it seemed pretty cut and dry that was not a catch. But
Yeah.
anyway, that was my kind of last thought on that game.
And hey, if you watch that game, they gave us a different POV on what the referees go through when they actually review those
That was
plays.
awesome. Oh, how did we miss that? That was awesome.
That was
Every
great.
league needs. I know the SEC is not going to let that happen, but shout out to the ACC for letting us listen in on that. That was great.